faculty of crime.
All right, y'all, we're back. Hopefully, a bunch of you made it here. Welcome, everybody. If you're just hopping on, I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and now you know how to say my name. I love when people call me Jai. It's funny because I know you guys forget. Somebody will read my name and say, "Oh, Jai," even though I say it's Jay with Guilty of Crime. Welcome, everybody. You guys do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. Members only is on Monday, guys. So welcome. Now we're back for Emily Pike. My goodness, there's a lot swirling around in this. This is the second episode that I've covered. I'm going to just quickly go over with you with some notes for those of you that haven't been here for this case or what have you. I'll read a little bit. Let me take a look at what you guys got. I'm just going to go over some of my notes there. Welcome, everybody. What's up, Doozy? Good to see you. Wolfpack is back. Sela, good to see you. Or Sia, good to see you. And I just want to correct it. I don't think that Darnell is not the bio dad, guys. I'm gonna have to look into that. But the guy said in the CPS, in the announcement that he was making, in the whatever you want to call that, he said that the man tested as a potential dad, but it was negative. All right. Darnell was never mentioned. So we're going to have to look into that. We're talking about the last case, Kaimani Lateeg. I just want to make sure I don't, that I correct myself. I just want to call you Jaya now just to be a punk, right? Just realized my membership is expired. And that's why I let you guys know. That way, Monday, you could be in on the super secret members only. All right. Yeah, you guys can call me Jai, Chai. Oblivious Benson calls me Chai, whatever you want to call me, but I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime. All right, guys. Thank you guys for the support, the love. Michelle just became a new member in the last episode, so welcome her here. All the mods, thank you for being here. Say her name, Emily Pike. All right, let's get into this. For those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, this came from an article, previous article of Emily Pike's mom tearing up after missing 14-year-old daughter was found dismembered. She was a baby, she says. All right, so the mother of an Arizona teen whose dismembered remains were discovered in trash bags by the side of the road 18 days after she went missing broke down in tears as she described her late daughter as just a baby. Now, authorities found remains of 14-year-old Emily Pike placed in multiple large contractor garbage bags and left on the side of a dirt road. On Valentine's Day, you guys, February 14th, just days before her birthday. All right. Now, she was just as an innocent. She was a baby. The girl's mother, Steph Docella, told the outlet she was a very happy kid and kind person, loved painting, loved art. She loved to draw. Emily, whose family lives in San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation, was living in a group home, you guys, in Mesa when she went missing on January 27th. Now, here's the thing about this. Here's the thing. She had run away 3 other times before, and they did not take it seriously. There's also a huge disconnect with the Apache community and this particular group home, or just in general. There was not an Amber Alert, anything like that. So this is a big deal, guys. This is a big deal. They're looking at that group home. There were 80 children missing from that group home and I had in the last episode how many out of the 80 never showed back up. There was a body that was found near her of a guy. We're going to go into all that. I'm also going to show you the interview room did a fantastic take on Emily Pike, and they took a drive out to where her body was found. So only somebody that knows that area and is familiar, in my opinion. Again, she was dismembered, guys. That's a big deal. This case is disturbing because I don't know, but my suspicion with that group home is something is going on there. All right. So, I mean, we did a lot of digging in the first one. Also, just want to let you guys know, for those of you that are here, we're going to do 3 Foxy Bauble giveaways for anybody that's in the United States, because shipping out of the country is just it's a huge amount to ship out of the country, and we're doing these giveaways and donating it. So yeah, we'll do some giveaways. You guys have to be here. You have to be here today when we do giveaways. If you're not here to claim your giveaway prize, then we have to move on. All right. Teresa, welcome. Kalista, welcome. Everybody, welcome back, and welcome to those of you that just got here. All right. Totally agree. Could anyone even change the trash cans? Could be anyone. Yeah, it could be, but we're going to look into that. Elizabeth, you're here. Good to see you. All right. So I miss her so much. Sister, I miss her so much. She was so much. Hers was my day one for life. All right. So there's Emily Pike, guys, found dismembered in garbage bags on the side of the dirt road. I'm going to show you in a bit. Case manager came a week later to tell me she was missing. So it took them a freaking week, you guys, to do anything. There's a huge disconnect there. There's a problem. Now, the teen's remains were located last month. Authorities were only able to confirm they belonged to Emily the past week. Her autopsy result showed she suffered visible face and head trauma. Now, a head and torso were discovered in large trash bags, with her legs in separate bags, guys. But the girl's arms and hands were never found. That's a disturbing piece of the evidence here, you guys. That her arms and hands were never found. All right. That is just, I'm going to do a trigger warning, you guys. Jay from Guilty of Crime. You know me. I cover some pretty dang hard cases. So when you're coming over to watch anything on Guilty of Crime, just be aware, trigger warning, you guys, because I covered a lot of disturbing cases. All right. Brenda says, I lived in Mesa, familiar with Globe. This was so disturbing. Yeah, just trigger warning to you guys. Just know we get graphic here, and we cover the cases that are hard. Now, you just have to be here, Autumn, to enter the giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway. You just have to hit the like button and comment, and I will do a spinning wheel, and you guys will win something. So welcome, Autumn Doyle. Autumn Doyle is the lead mod from the Gavin Fish channel. Welcome her. We love other channels and other people. We just love people that work together and show some love. What's up, Antonia? Good to see you. All right, so big trigger warning. Hands and arms were never found. All right, guys. There's a new, where is that new, did they say New England? Where's the new serial killer suspected? I just looked at that. There's a possible serial killer that's out there right now. Did they say New England? I got to look into that. What's up, Peanut Fairy? How you doing? Yeah, very evil. All right. Let's yeah, this is disturbing. So there's Emily. I don't know if this picture is her mom, and maybe I don't know. All right, here it is. Emily Center. Obviously, that's Emily right there, guys. And then we have Emily had a love for art painting. Her mother said, and it doesn't say here, what did it go for that? It's pain. I hope no other mother has to go through this. I'm going to assume that her mother is in here, probably over here. I'm not sure. There's no description on this. All right. According to the mother, police have 3 suspects, but they have not shared their names. That's a big deal, guys. There are 3 suspects and they're not sharing their names. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. It's scary. Her mother said Emily, who had big dreams of studying art in college, would have been celebrating her 15th birthday, guys. So, justice for Emily. There's a Facebook. She'll never be forgotten until we meet again. Authorities have ruled teen's death a homicide. All right. Any information? Bureau of Indian Affairs, San Carlos Apache. That's crazy. All right, guys. So, we're going to get into it now. We see a bunch of pictures here missing, runaway. They've now found her. She's no longer missing. All right. Located remains Highway 60. We're going to show you that here in a minute. So I just wanted to kind of recap that for you guys. And then let's take a look here. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. Happy Friday to everybody. You guys could be anywhere else, but you're here with me. So thank you. With me and with each other. All right. Just don't forget, we're going to be doing a giveaway at the end of this. So stay tuned. Yeah, comment and like and all that stuff. She had a lot of risk factors. She sure did. And running away, we gotta teach our children that when they run away, just not to run away, to face their problems. They need somebody to talk to. They need anybody to talk to so they don't feel like running away is an option. Once they run away once, you guys, it's so bad because officers have that written down as a runaway previously. And so they don't look. They don't take it seriously. They just say, oh, they're a runaway. All right. So we gotta speak up. New England, another body found, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and another state. Thank you, Ava. Thank you. Yeah, they think there's another serial killer and it's one person they think behind it. But you guys talk to the kids while they're here. Do something while they're alive, not just after. All right. And I'm not saying you guys, just period. We need to, have a good relationship with your child. And even if it's not your child, another child, if your daughter's friend comes over and you see that she's got something heavy on her mind or she starts talking, open the door to be that person. That you don't have to be a parent. You could just be a friend to them to give them a safe place. All right. Yeah, because running away is very, very dangerous. Not only what you could run into, but it's dangerous for that to be on your record. Yeah, hello, what's up? What's up, Indy? Yeah, she kept running away. Something was happening at that home, in my opinion. 80 other children went missing there, guys. Made the crossover. What's up, Ashton Lee? Good to see you. Yeah, you gotta say, do not run away, guys. Do not run away. All right, let's listen up here. Volunteers search for signs of evidence. Now they know where her body was. They have her and they're looking for who did this. 3 suspects, we don't know.
That is the question that has people scouring the forest where part of her remains were found. That search happening today just northeast of Globe. 12 News journalist Sean Price has joined those searches and is live with what their message is today. Sean?
Yes.
Yeah, Caribe, good evening to you. Today's search here northeast of Globe was as much symbolic as it was physical. 14-year-old Emily Pike's remains, specifically her torso, her head, and her legs, were all discovered right here behind me in this forest area just off Highway 60 back on February 14th. And the goal of today's search was to make her whole, specifically find her arms and her hands. I'm told that's a discovery that would bring some needed closure to Emily's family.
Just to be here in presence really helps a lot with that healing and with that closure.
The forest grounds off Highway 60 may yield clues to help answer this question: who killed Emily Pike?
She was placed here like garbage. She's not garbage. She's a beautiful human being.
Pike went missing from a Mesa group home in late January and was never seen or heard from for over 2 weeks. Then came the grim discovery by a pair of hikers. Emily's dismembered remains discarded in black trash bags.
On this type of case, it takes a special kind of evil to do what's been done here.
Tuesday, members of the sheriff's office and the Gila County attorney offered their support to the searchers. Gila County Lieutenant James Lottie says they are pursuing every lead possible to find Emily's killer. but at this point, do not have any solid.
Yeah, this is just, I mean, luckily they found her. It seems like somebody threw out like garbage and kind of wanted those pieces to be found. They knew it was a hiking trail. Does everybody see I'm good trouble? Yes, we see you. I'm good trouble. I don't think that we wouldn't see you unless somebody blocked you, but we didn't. We love you. You're here. Thank you. Mesa Group Home is where she went missing from. Yes, and it's under suspicion, but nothing's being done. Ali Callie came here but late. Malibu Surf, good to see you. She was an artist. The bastard took her hands, right? Or whoever did that, right? We don't nowadays, who knows who. All right, let's keep going.
Suspects or persons of interest.
Don't think that this doesn't affect us and that we don't care. You know, we're here to do a job, and our job is to find out who did this to Emily, and we really want to see whoever that is caught and brought to justice.
That presence near Emily's final resting spot, serving as a message to her friends and family. She may be gone, but her memory never will be.
For myself, knowing that we're out here, and also for Emily, knowing that she's not forgotten.
Now, at this point in their investigation, the Gila County Sheriff's Office tells me their message to the public is simple. See something, say something. If anyone in the Mesa area saw Emily Pike between...
Yeah, see something, say something, and better yet, do something. Just be safe about what you're doing, but definitely do something. Call somebody, tell somebody, do something, right? Don't just not do anything. All right, let's keep going. We're going to take a little drive with the interview room. I thought that was great. It's good to see where it is. It's definitely wild. Somebody
January 27th, when she was reported missing, and February 14th, when her remains were found here. They are urged to contact the Gila County Sheriff's Office. They tell me at this point, any additional leads they receive will bring them one step closer to finding Emily's killer. We're live in Gila County.
Absolutely. Hands and arms. That's where you fight somebody off, right? You scratch, you hit, you put your arms up. That's where you get your defensive wounds. And I'm sure that's probably what happened. It could have been the birthmark. It could have been the fight marks. It could have been the scratching, but that tends to be people trying to hide something. All right. That lady was probably a tribe member. It would be hard not to take it personally. Yeah. Missing an Indigenous people was a big deal. She had a beautiful casket, and I'm glad family wasn't fighting over her. But there's something going on not only with the reservation and the group home, but there's a disconnect going on. There's a problem. It could be symbolic too. We don't know. I don't know who they're looking at as suspects. So it's going to be interesting. Brenda Fisher, justice for Emily Pike. Absolutely. All right, let's dig in some more. I want to look at this drive with you with the interview room, and then we'll get into some updates. Some more updates. This is another case that's going to be a lot of speculation about the group home and the person that ran it. And people are just going to be doing this. They're already starting. All right. I wish I knew who the suspects were. I wish they had named them, but they don't want it to dampen the investigation. All right, sorry, guys. Let's do it. We don't need that loud music, but this is the interview room taking a drive out there. It's a huge deal. He's concerned himself with missing Indigenous individuals. And they don't want us to either, right? There's a missing an Indigenous individuals with the reservation that they don't want the police in there. They don't want they want to police themselves. So when that happens, then we're kind of forced not to be in there with them. So there's got to be a better way, right? What state is this? This is Arizona. It's Gila County, Arizona. All right, let's turn this up.
In his vehicle. What was he thinking?
This is a good drive to see out there. What was this person thinking as they were taking her to drop her off? We have no idea about that as far as I know yet. She was dismembered. There were lots of different pieces, so I didn't hear anything about that in my yeah, I didn't hear anything about that, guys. There's a good possibility, and I think there could have been more than one person that picked her up and did that. I just my speculation.
You can't help but wonder
Gila.
how many times he'd been to that spot and fantasized about dropping off his victims.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gila. Okay. All right. Yeah, I wouldn't have known that, guys. So thank you, Gila. There you go. We'll just say Arizona for now. They got a dangerous, disgusting serial killer out there. Yeah, I agree. Probably. Well, many times when you let the police get involved, there becomes problems, especially on reservations. You think this caseworker did that, huh? Interesting. I'm sure there was another body. There was another body that was close to her, you guys. I believe they found 2 bodies that have nothing to do supposedly with that. So I wonder if we're gonna unmask another type of Lisk killer. I don't suspect the caseworker. I don't know. Yeah, I don't suspect the caseworker. I'm not saying that. I have a suspicion about the facility where she was, or the group home. The group home has way too many kids going missing, which leads me to believe that something's going on in there. Maybe some kind of assault on the children and they don't want to be there. There's a reason why 80 children would do that, would run away from a place like that. You got to look closer at that when that's happening. When that high of a number. All right, so it's taking a drive out there, still driving out there, guys. And I'm trying to discuss with you while we take a look at this. I mean, this is creepy. This guy had, or whoever did that, maybe multiple people took this drive with her body, right? With her dismembered. What do you think of the other woman found on the highway? There was another woman and there was a man. I don't know if they're connected because what about the Lisk thing? It's interesting because Lisk. I'll just say I don't know. All right, there it is.
Emily's remains were found right at mile marker 277.
All right, mile marker 277, guys, where she was found. I wanted you guys to see this. Yeah, it could be connected. That's what I was saying. That person knows that area. For there to be there to be several bodies. Yes, 80 out of one group home. If you go back to my episode 1, you'll see. Yeah. It's never not heavy on guilty of crime. Sorry, but guilty of crime, guys, we deal with hard things. Rest in peace, Emily Pike. Yeah, they did a great job going out there. This is very sad. But I know being NA can be difficult at times. I have blood and have been treated. Interesting. Native American. Yeah, I haven't seen any articles about her being SA'd. I've read multiple articles, and I just don't want to say that because I haven't seen it yet. Last seen 127. Let's see. Incident being investigated as a homicide. While you guys are watching that, I'm looking here. Foster care advocates honor Arizona teen whose remains were found.
Natasha.
All right, I'll look.
One of the tribes in
Oklahoma, the northeast corner, Ottawa tribe of Oklahoma.
And she's up here also looking into Emily.
Yeah.
And
no,
it's
hold on
great
me.
to have you here because you have so much information.
The interview room, guys.
On YouTube, they're asking for people. They need drones and people with side-by-sides and.
Okay. All right.
All right, hold on. Let me look.
Yeah, I want to go up over here. Well, they use it for shooting practice right there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pause this for a second while or I'll play it and I'll lower it so I can read something to you. I don't see anything in the articles, but as I go, I might I'll read it while we're playing this. Hold on. There's a shooting place. Someone goes out there and uses that to shoot. But it just says here, Mesa, Arizona, foster care advocates are honoring 14-year-old Emily Pike, whose remains were found on Highway 60 in, what do you guys call it? Hia County. San Carlos Apache tribe. It says brutally killed and dismembered. Head, torso, and legs were left in the trash bag. So I don't possibly see how they can say that she was SA'd. I can only imagine the fact that her hands and arms haven't been found because she was beating up and hurting her attacker. There you go, guys. Beating up and hurting her attacker. I don't see where they would say she was SA'd. I don't possibly see how they would know if she was SA'd if they only found certain parts of her body, guys. Torso, legs. So yeah, I don't want to spread that out there and say that. And yeah, the group home didn't report it for a week. Absolutely they didn't. That's another thing about that group home. Now this is great footage here. All right, so let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about the Annika Robinson. All right, there it is. That's
what they're really concerned about.
Right, because out of tribal tradition.
Right, it's just like the Egyptians.
Yeah, right. So she can't have a proper.
Oh, you hear that?
Continue on. So she's still with us somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's why I keep on telling Stephanie that spirit played out.
So they're saying, yeah, she can't have a proper burial. That's a thing without her hands and arms. Now, there's a lot of speculation on why she was in a group home, you guys. I've heard many stories, but I heard that she just wasn't doing so well with her mom and her family and ended up in a group home. I haven't had any solid evidence why she wasn't there. So, yeah, if Fox 10 Phoenix said that, I'll believe it. So when I see that she was SA'd, I'll say it. Right now, I don't know. Perdón, J, pronunciation, mi familia, ella es un sabo. Are you talking Spanish now, girl? All right, let's keep going. Oh, hold on. Back here. Let's take a look. Oh, that's a big one. That's scary. It's scary for me to even think about that. Creepy music, right? I just want to see how far they're walking out there and what they're looking at. And I'm gonna look. No, I didn't see anything that talked about weapons. They're not releasing a lot of information, and I wonder if it's because they have the suspects. They want to make sure they know who did it. Gang, gang, guilty of crime. Hello, what's up, my real Gemini? Here you go. Can't cross the river till all of her body is together. That seems pretty symbolic to me, guys. I'm gonna lower this again. I just want you guys to see this while I'm talking. Okay, so I have another article in a second I'm going to show you.
Heard from for over 2 weeks. Then came the grim discovery by a pair of hikers. Emily's dismembered remains discarded in black trash bags. On this type of case, it takes a special kind of evil to do what's been done here. Tuesday, members of the Sheriff's Office and the Gila County Attorney offered their support to the searchers. Gila County Lieutenant James Latte says they are pursuing every lead possible to find Emily's killer, but at this point, do not have any solid suspects or persons of interest. Don't think that this doesn't affect us and that we don't care. You know, we're here to do a job, and our job is to find out who did this to him.
All right, guys. Tiff, I'm going to leave that up to you. If you can drop a link for merch. Tiff, where you at, girlfriend? Autumn Doyle wants you to drop a merch link again so she can take a look at our merch, guys. All right, so that's just out there and very creepy and sad. I would not want to be out there for any reason. All right, so while that's showing, she was living in a Mesa group home at the time. Many people speculate many different things. I did hear things about mental health. I think all of us were shocked that about her demise. Said Robinson, this is another person they have. Police say Emily's remains were found on Valentine's Day, 100 miles away from where she was last seen alive. Her group home manager reported her missing on January 27th, 1 month later. All right, 1 freaking month later. Remains dumped on the side. Someone had to have seen something. They had to have seen her face. They had to have heard her yelling. They had to have observed someone or something being taken part of or her being taken. Mesa police say Emily had a history of running away, you guys. And what happened in the weeks after she disappeared remain a mystery. Yeah, that's a problem. On Sunday morning, foster care advocates wrap yellow ribbons around the street poles where Emily was last seen. And right now, they're just still looking for things to find out. Do they find weapons? Are they going to find anything? Yeah, right now I don't see much of anything. They don't say what was used.
You know, as I walked around this area, I couldn't help but think the suspect not only knew this area, but he considered Emily trash. The fires directly across from where her remains are found.
That's sad to even say.
More insight into who this animal could be.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't want to be out there either. I wouldn't even want to be there the day. No, she wasn't found on a reservation. She was found 100 miles away from where she was last seen.
The upcoming markers that you'll see are from searching.
And there's other bodies found in this area, so I'm sure this person knew exactly what they were doing, where they were going, all that. See, this is a much different case. I look at Animal Bone. This is much different than like Stephen Stern's getting rid of Maddie's body and not knowing where to go, right? This person knew. I love him too. I love that he did that. It reminds me of Duty Ron. Have a great weekend. I'm Good Trouble. You think it was a hunter, huh? Foxy Amazon says, Apache have a strong belief in the wholeness of the body at death. Dismemberment is viewed as negative, and it could disrupt the journey of the spirit. A complete body is considered necessary. That's sad. Had she been found on the reservation, we probably would have never heard of her. There you go, Mystic. You're absolutely right, in my opinion, and that's sad. They knew her. Right. Yeah, you would have to find out who goes out there and knows the area, but it's there's a trail there. So people go out there and they walk, and that there was other bodies found out there. What's up, Grassi? Good to see you. Indigenous land, love it. So pristine. Chris always does that. He did it for Summer Wells as well. That's awesome. I know Duty Ron did that with the Lisk killer. He went out to where the bodies were found, and I love boots on the ground. No, the other bodies they found was a man and then a lady. There was one man, one woman, and I don't think they were children. It was the first, I did that in the first episode, so.
There is no question in my mind. The suspect knows this area.
There you go.
Even return again. If you see anything, please call the tip line at the end of this video and notify the authorities of your observations.
So sad.
Any piece of evidence could help. The world sees you, Emily. The world sees you.
You guys, share this, share information with me as you find it. I'm going to continue to cover this case as well. So if you guys guiltyofcrimeby@gmail.com, and we're not done. We're just getting started in this one today. Let me bring you back and let's take a look at an update, see if I hear anything about her being SA'd. Right now, I don't even know if they can figure that out, but if they say so, then hey.
More about the case of Emily Pike, a 14-year-old girl who was murdered after going missing last month.
Authorities are still searching for the suspect who dismembered the Apache teen who was living in a Mesa group home at the time. Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum has been looking into this case. New details coming out from her missing persons report.
We've obtained a 12-page police report from Mesa PD. This missing persons case is closed now due to the ongoing homicide investigation. But we do get a glimpse into Emily's past and the timeline leading up to the tragic discovery of her remains. On January 27th, near Mesa Drive and McKellips Road, a group home manager reported 14-year-old Emily Pike missing to Mesa police. According to the report, she said Emily snuck out of her bedroom window and that this wasn't the first time she ran away. The manager said the last time Emily left the house, she was found near Fitch Park. Staff checked the Rock Teen Center a couple days later, where Emily had visited before, but no one had seen or heard from her. By February 19th, a Mesa officer says he spoke to an agent with the Bureau of Indian Affairs who believed Emily had been located within the Gila County Indian Reservation after human remains had been discovered on Valentine's Day just off Highway 60 North at milepost 277. This area is around 100 miles away from where the San Carlos Apache teen was last seen alive. 2 weeks later, she was positively identified and a murder investigation ensued. Tribal communities and family have since united in their grief, calling for justice.
Emily was a spark, and she definitely sparked the entire world, and now the world is on fire because of Emily.
Mesa PD's missing persons report on Emily also reveals the teen's history of behavioral and mental health concerns. Emily took medication.
Right, so there it is, and I've heard extensive conversations on this about why she was where she was, why she wasn't with her mom. People have speculated different things, but yeah, I mean, medical conditions or mental health conditions not treated right can be dangerous for the people themselves, like her not knowing how to feel or maybe who to talk to and just taking off, not knowing how to deal with it. And look at what happened. Now, it's purposeful that the Apache reservation doesn't have regular authorities that have the same, they don't have that jurisdiction to go in there. But then what happens is this, right? What happens is this. It takes a month to even know about anything. And yeah, Rad, this is, they do the, what is that? Won't be silenced. Yeah, and another, I think she's 14. She was 14, so it's another child forever 14 on that one. Many Indigenous communities are in a remote, underfunded area with few services or jobs, making more vulnerable to traffic and predators. And I believe there's a lot of predators and trafficking people inside of that community, Foxy, because they know that they're not being watched and monitored by the law enforcement. They have their own. Yeah, 100 miles away. Man. All right. Jay, I'll be listening. 11 a.m. Saturday. Must move. Go move. Go move. You do that. Thank you for stopping by. All right, let's keep going.
for those issues and had a case manager from the San Carlos Apache tribe. Just days before her remains were found, an anonymous tip based on a Facebook post said Emily was with her mother on the reservation. That later proved to be untrue, as her mom said she had not heard from Emily, according to police. GCSO is leading the investigation and has created a task force that includes the FBI to help find Emily's killer. If you have any information on the case, we have the link to the tip line on fox10phoenix.com. I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum.
All right. Justin Lum is the one that's also reporting on the Lori Vallow case. All right. Now we're going to hear some of Emily and we're going to update the major parts of it. I love that Law&Crime is covering this. We're going to hear her voice now. So you guys do me a favor. Let's get hyped up. Come on. It's Friday, guys. Friday. If you're doing your chores, if you're laying down, if you're making dinner, whatever you're doing, we're here. It's 6 o'clock. I'm normally not even on here anymore. We're on episode number 2, guys. So do me a huge favor and hit the like button for me if you would. That helps to support the channel. You feel free to share this link with your friends, with the community, so we can get this out there and more people will know about Emily Pike. If you have the means to get yourself a membership or donate to the channel, please do. It's what keeps us going here. All right, guys. So thank you for being here. Let's continue. Mental health was because of her awareness of shadow and evil around her. Interesting. Yes. Woohoo. It's Friday and we're covering true crime, some of the hardest cases there are out there, guys. This is rough and brutal.
And yeah, just have a good rest of your day.
So sweet, man. She's a baby.
A 14-year-old girl is reported missing in Arizona, and after 3 weeks of frantic searching, parts of her dismembered body were found in a wooded area 100 miles away from her home. Now, there are calls for investigation into the group home she was a part of, as the teenager's case becomes a rallying cry for advocates for missing and murdered Indigenous women. Yep. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. 14-year-old Emily Pike, a member of the San Carlos Apache tribe in Arizona, was reported missing at the end of January, having apparently walked away from her group home. Now, law enforcement in Mesa say that Emily was a chronic runaway, having been located by police on at least 3 prior occasions after being reported missing from the home, according to police reports. On Valentine's Day, 3 weeks after she was last seen, the Gillette County Sheriff's Office says it got a call from some hikers who said they found trash bags on or near a trail in a forested area near Globe, Arizona. So this is off US 60 at milepost 277. And when they looked inside, they believed they saw body parts. The remains were later confirmed to be that of Emily, and they were taken for autopsy. The Sheriff's Office and Mesa Police Department partnered with the FBI and Bureau of Indian Affairs to launch a homicide investigation. Spokesperson for the Sheriff's Department said they've also been in contact and in touch with the San Carlos Apache Police Department. Emily's family was reportedly part of this tribe, according to ABC 15. And when Emily's body was discovered, the information was apparently leaked on Facebook before an official identification was made. In fact, the Gillette County Sheriff's Office said in a statement on February 26th, unfortunately.
Man, he talks fast. All right, and we're going to share that after. Thank you, Truth Finder, for sending that article. It says that family of Emily Pike says that 14-year-old was essayed. She was an essay victim before the taking of her life occurred. So I want to hear about that. Is that different than it happening to her while that happened, or is she a SA victim previous to that? So that I want to know. Absolutely. Thank you for sending that. Let me stop this for 1 second and play that just for a moment, because I want to know if she was. Does that mean she was before this happened and it continued, or is it they found it during? Let's take a look. Sorry about that. I can't do anything with these. It's a news article, so we got to just take a look. If you guys are hungry, look at this cheese they're showing there. Come on, guys. This is just a pop-up. Okay, let's
Emily Pike's family who say justice for
let's take a look.
Fell through the cracks long before her murder. The 14-year-old was sent to live in a Mesa group home, but then ran away in January, and her body was found a month later near Globe. Fox 10's Nicole Christine has more on the family's efforts.
That's what I want to find out.
Well, good evening, Mark and Ellen. As you know, this is a story that our team has been covering.
Let's find out together.
Trying to find answers ourselves as more details of Emily's life continue to surface. Today, her family telling me that they are in favor of federal intervention in order to get her murder case solved.
she would still be here today if she was not sent to the group home.
Emily Pike's family says the sweet, loving girl they knew from birth faced demons in the last years of her life they want to bring to light. One of those was a reported sexual assault on the San Carlos Apache Reservation.
There you go, guys.
No charges were ever filed, and her paternal aunts and uncles.
So this was before, which is a big difference, right? It's a big deal and a big difference. So I was like, how can they know that she was SA'd when they only found part of her torso, her legs, things like that. So this was an ongoing problem, and look at what happened. Thank you for sending that to me, and I always love clearing that up. All right, let's watch this and we'll hop back into the other one. I have time since we already covered the Kimani case, so let's go.
Uncle wonder how things could have been different if someone was held responsible.
Would she have been sent to a group home if this individual had been charged and did some time?
The family says any investigation now into the alleged sexual assault does not detract from the homicide case.
There you go, guys. Two separate things.
Happening off the reservation with what happened with her on the reservation, that's a different jurisdiction to whereas the tribe has the jurisdiction and the authority to look into what happened and why that case fell through the cracks.
Emily's aunts, who both live out of state, say they were trying to take Emily in for years.
And
we wanted to have her live with us and just give her the love and just be there for her.
So cute, guys.
I just wanted her. I just couldn't imagine what it was like or what it is like to be in a group home. A lot of things crossed my mind.
Carolyn sharing that a suicide attempt by Emily at the group home in late 2023 forced the issue for her.
That they had told.
Okay, so there's part of the issues, guys. I mean, that's a big deal when somebody gets SA'd, a child like that doesn't know what to do, doesn't know who to talk to, and nothing's being done. And it absolutely could be connected. I just wanted to find out if it was connected now in that particular case. So it could be, or it could not be. It could be a separate occasion, and I'm sure that happens, especially when somebody is not being governed and they're not being looked at by an outside law enforcement and everything's being done inside. People will get away with what they can. All right, so that being said, I mean, that kind of stuff's going to happen when nobody's looking at you and you're just doing that yourself. People in power take that power and they do bad things with it. All right, let's keep going so we can get through this.
Told me what had happened with the shoestring and the closet incident, and that just broke my heart. And immediately it's like, okay, can she just come with us? Can we just take her in?
The family now questioning why they've received no updates in Emily's murder case.
I'd feel more comfortable if the federal, the FBI had taking lead on this case.
So
I
cute.
believe with their resources and the manpower they have, you never know. You know, they may be or could have been further along in this case.
Justice now twofold as the family hopes for answers not only in her death, but in the reported assault.
Damn.
A silent prayer is always said because I do want that person to be caught. And I do, we want justice from before and after in any way that she was hurt.
In the Gila County Sheriff's Office telling me that they don't have any additional information about the reported sexual assault as they were not the lead agency on that case, sharing an update on the murder investigation, saying that they do not have any persons of interest or suspects at this time, but they are continuing to follow leads. Now, we did get a response within the last hour from the San Carlos Apache tribe. They pointed us to a statement that has been shared online saying that they are going to launch an internal investigation into these sexual assault allegations from 2023. We'll continue to follow and update on all of these investigations surrounding Emily Pike. Reporting live tonight, Nicole.
All right, so that's what we're talking about. That's the conversations that we're having right now, is why she wasn't with her mother, etc. So it's a little more complicated than just she wasn't with her mother because. All right. So multiple things that we've been talking about. Michelle, mental health. Her mom wasn't able to control her. That's what happens when you go to group homes sometimes, but there were multiple things that happened, and the circumstances led to her being in a group home.
The information on Facebook was intended for only law enforcement agencies and was leaked. GCSO detectives are currently working long hours to make a positive identification and find any information and evidence. And I will say it's particularly chilling because many updates from local agencies have said most of Emily's dismembered remains were found, but further information hasn't been released on that. Now, despite weeks of investigations and multiple candlelight vigils and marches for awareness, this investigation really hasn't revealed many answers. Police told local reporters
a lot of speculation,
that they have
guys.
some leads, but no definitive suspects. They've set up a tip line. They're asking anybody who might have surveillance video showing Emily's movements to please contact them. The tribe is also offering a $75,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest and a conviction. So clearly there's a lot to talk about here. And I want to bring on somebody who actually alerted me to the Emily Pike story. We're here with Justin Shepard from the YouTube channel Just in the Nick of Crime. Thank you so much for taking the time and for bringing awareness to this case. Talk to us how you got involved in reporting and covering this case.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me. So we do a lot with missing people on my channels. And after the Gabby Petito case, I became friends with her family, Nikki and Jim Schmidt and Joe and Tara Petito. And this has been something that's been very important to them, is bringing attention to the MMIW community,
That's
which is
awesome.
missing and murdered Indigenous women as well.
And I don't know if any of you guys have seen this yet, but thank you for being here. All of this is in the last, week or two of updates. I know there are a lot of other different, speculations and different things coming from different places about this or could be this. But right now we're kind of we're just speculating a little, but sticking to the facts of what we know is out there, and a little bit of finding out why she wasn't with her mom, maybe, and why and what happened, why she ran away, what led up to that. All right, let's keep going.
Well, as people of color, because what they discovered during their daughter's case was that there's this whole missing white woman syndrome, and they just didn't feel like that was okay. So one of the things that they had done was gotten involved with different people involved in Indigenous communities, including an attorney named Darlene Gomez, and they stay on top of this. So Jim had actually sent me this story, and literally there are very few stories with everything that I cover that leave my jaw on the floor, and this one was one of them.
By the way, I got to say this, the content that we cover here on Sidebar proves you got to be careful who you surround yourself with, who you let into your life. Do you really know? Well, that is why we've partnered with TruthFinder. TruthFinder is one of the largest public record search services in the United States.
It also depends on where the crime occurred, tribal land versus state or federal jurisdiction, and the type of offense committed. The thing is that the tribal lands don't have a lot of money and resources to do proper investigations. A lot
exactly, MM Clark
in tribal lands go to, outside
exactly
because money is better. There really just isn't budget and funding, and so it's very easy to write these off. And because of this, oftentimes you don't have, the FBI getting involved. You don't have local municipalities getting involved, and when they do, they don't really put that much effort towards it. And I think that that's one of the biggest challenges of this. And I think that a lot of people exploit these loopholes. People who commit violence against these women,
absolutely, guys,
exploit these loopholes, knowing that.
I think that's a very fair assessment. I think that's a very scary conclusion. But
I think they absolutely exploit the loopholes. They absolutely exploit having power. When somebody has too much power and nobody's looking at what's happening within, those are the kind of things that happen. All right. And yeah, Justin from TikTok, I don't watch TikTok really ever, but when I do see his reportings, they're pretty solid. Yes, it would be interesting to know why she kept running away. What was she running from? That is the question I posed on episode number 1. Not just her, but the 80 other kids that took off, that went missing from that group home. What were they running from, guys? That's unusually high. That's an unusual high number for anywhere, but a group home, something's going on. All right. Jesse Weber's hair is always perfect, right? They must have the the blow dryer and all that. All right. What's up, Jesse Lou? Good to see you. Everybody, good to see you. Don't forget, stay in here. We're going to have some giveaways at the end, but you got to be here.
That might actually be what's happening here. Let's talk about Emily for a second, because I want to talk about this January 27th report to police that Emily was missing. So According to this police report, the manager for a group home that was run by Sacred Journey Inc. called authorities. And it says, quote, Kathy indicated one of the clients left out of her bedroom window and has not returned. The window screen was pushed out from inside.
There you
Kathy
go,
stated
guys.
that she has ran away several times in the past. Kathy did not indicate any exigent circumstance. She was described as a 14-year-old native female, approximately 4 feet 10 inches, 115 pounds, with medium-length brown hair. She does not have a cell phone. She was last seen wearing a pink and gray shirt. Now, the group home manager reportedly gave police information about where Emily had been found after running away before, but that didn't work here. Officers didn't find her. And the reason why Emily was in the group home or how long she lived there is not entirely clear either. Her family wouldn't comment on it when asked by reporters. Now, NBC News reports that the tribe's social services department had placed Emily in the home, allegedly because of the San Carlos youth home on the San Carlos reservation that was full. The Sacred Journey group home reportedly has 10 beds. Now, Sacred Journey is not part of the Arizona Department of Child Safety system. However, DCS has opened a licensing inquiry into this home. A spokesperson for DCS sent ABC 15 a statement in an email that read in part, at this time, the department does not believe any action taken or not taken by the group home caused the terrible outcome in this case. We have opened a licensing inquiry to determine whether appropriate steps were taken by the group home during this incident. And also, according to NBC News, the group home alerts state agencies and law enforcement whenever a resident leaves the group home without permission. And the 2023 missing person reports on Emily indicate when police found her, she told them that she didn't like living at the group home, that she didn't want to go back. Those 3 reports indicate that Emily was found within hours of being reported missing each time and was either returned to the group home or taken to a behavioral health center. Justin, what can you tell us about that?
Crazy, man.
Unverified reports are that this particular facility has had an issue with runaways. The numbers that I have heard are 30 kids have run away from that home. Most of the time they return. And that was part of the issue with Emily going missing this last time, was that typically she would run away, but then she would always return. And not to go off onto a tangent, but that's another challenge that we have with teenagers is oftentimes when they go missing, they're treated as runaways. And therefore, law enforcement might not get involved quickly. Whereas as a 14, 15, 16-year-old, you're still a child. Even if you are a runaway, you're still at that point vulnerable. You're still in danger. But again, that's a different discussion. But yeah, that's my understanding. And I did see the licensing inquiry being opened up. But like I said, my understanding is that this is not the first issue, the first time that they've had issues with other people other than Emily running away from this.
Yeah, right. So I'm looking at this now, and there 80 was an overall, but so I'm backtracking here because he said that, and I looked it up, and it is in fact 30. So I must have read something over an amount of time, but here it talks about what he said, 30. And I don't know if that's 30 in the last year, in the last 2 years, but there's an overall number here. It says they addressed reports that 30 children had gone missing from the home. They are all accounted for. Lockdowns and child restraints aren't used. Rumors about cults, false blood sacrifices. It says ridiculous, vampirism. Yes, that too. Proliferating the internet that have internet compounded the trauma of Emily's death. So there's a lot of rumors going around, and they just gave the number 30. Okay, so I don't know if it's 30 in the last year, 80 over the last 5. What? They don't give me those numbers, but that's a big, high amount. Huge.
This home due to supposedly issues with staff or the environment. I know that was one of the things that Emily had said in a previous report as to why she would leave. And at the same time, who wants to be in a group home?
It's fair. Yeah. And look, I will tell you, ABC 15, they got to look at some of those missing person reports, and it provides more details about what Emily, alleged was happening at the home. There was a report from September 11th, 2023, states that Emily had run away with another teen, and when officers found them, they reportedly told them they did not want to go back to the group home because
it
them
said
worse
that
by
in there.
scrubbing walls, baseboards, window seals, even getting on their hands and knees to scrub the grout on the tile. Emily reportedly ran away again less than 2 weeks later, told an officer she didn't want to return because it makes her uncomfortable when the staff gets into arguments with other juveniles in the home. According to a press release from the San Carlos Apache Tribe Council to Arizona legislatures, unfortunately, Emily is not the first child to leave Sacred Journey without the group home's permission. The Mesa Police Department reports that about 30 children have run away from Sacred Journey over the past 3 years. You hope it's not a case like this, Justin, that requires some sort of change, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we definitely need to have some.
So I stand corrected, 30 in 3 years. I don't know where I got 80 from, maybe in my last report, but yeah, 30 in the last 3 years. That's a big number. And finding a man's body and a woman's body close in that area, 100 miles away is pretty far. Pretty far. There was a cult of them that killed in the 70s or 80s. And that is a lot. But what happened to them? How many came back? How many didn't they find?
Some kind of change with this. And going a little bit more into that, I feel like when you're in a facility like this, if you're being placed in a group home, there is a reason for it, whether there's family issues or you're a troubled teen or troubled kid. And everything that she's describing, that's not the way to help get these kids to a better spot. Having them, do forced manual labor, having them experience, arguments that could be triggering depending on the home environment that they're coming from. You're really as a home that's supposed to cater towards troubled kids, troubled teens, you would really think that they would do a better job at trying to make sure that those kids felt, safe and secure during their time there. And I think that's probably, again, another look into a much larger issue, not just here, but probably at a lot of these homes.
And by the way, this council had recommended that the Arizona legislature enact.
Yeah, let me tell you this while we have it here, while I have it up. So, what they just said, she had ran away 4 separate times. 3 of the times, Mesa police picked her up and brought her back. Now, on the reservation, Emily had people who she was close to, particularly her cousins, but she didn't have stability. She lived with her brother, mother, grandmother, aunts, and others. A relative said the small house was crowded, frenetic, and not necessarily happy. Her parents were long separated. Her father was in and out of prison, most recently on arson related charges. Her mother had custody, but relatives said she wasn't always there for her daughter. Even in their shared grief, the two sides of the family remain at odds with each other, planning separate memorial services. Family and friends said Emily confronted challenges with her radiant smile. They described her as kind and gentle, soft spoken, and creative. She was smart and got good grades and was learning to play the guitar. She looked forward to college and hoped to pursue art. She wanted more for herself, Emily's cousin shared. All right. So there you go. There's some information about her, the family, and the dynamics.
Enact legislation in Emily's name that will, quote, strengthen safety, security, monitoring, licensing, and operational standards for foster and children group homes. The tribe is also pushing for the legislature to pass House Bill 2281, which would create an alert system for missing Indigenous people.
Damn, sorry
to an
about
Amber
that.
Alert. I imagine, Justin, that's something that would be quite necessary. But talk to us also about, maybe this environment as well, as we're trying to understand what happened to Emily. It seems like it's just a bunch of different factors that are happening at one time that have led to a really, really disastrous result here. Talk to us about what we should be thinking about this environment, this area of Arizona, all these different factors, because it adds to the chilling aspect of this mystery.
Yeah, and let me kind of go a little bit outside. Let's widen that scope a little bit. Let's kind of the things that people might not realize about our Indigenous communities is 4 out of 5. So that's 84.3%. 4 out of 5 Indigenous women have experienced violence in their lifetime. 51 points. It's estimated that 56.1 to 65% of Indigenous women have experienced sexual violence. More than 1.5 million Indigenous women have been victims of violence. They experience rates of murder, rape, and violent crime far exceeding the national average. And as of 2020, homicide is one of the leading top 3 causes of death for Indigenous girls and women aged 1 to 45. So when you look at what's happened to Emily specifically out.
Yeah, I do my best with my volume. My volume is supposed to adjust itself. So, everything's turned up and my volume is supposed to adjust. I apologize. Sometimes I can't get that right, but hopefully you guys can hear. Thanks for being here. Thanks for staying here. And thanks for supporting the channel, guys. Don't forget to hit the like.
Outside of the group home, this is not new to that community. It's something that they are all, especially the women and girls, are very much aware of. They're also aware of the fact that they are more likely to be victims of physical or sexual violence than they are to attend college. So I think that those are things that people probably don't realize that they really should be thinking about. And Emily is unfortunately now become just another statistic of these just absolutely appalling and staggering numbers.
Do they ever catch the people who are responsible for this, or is this a situation where, because of these, particular circumstances, it allows people to commit crimes and get away with it?
So I think that's a good question, and it's more the latter. And what I can tell you, and I don't have newer data than this, so I apologize, but in 2016, there were 5,712 reports of missing Indigenous persons in the U.S., and only 116 of those were logged into NamUs. And for people who don't know what that is, that's the National Missing and Unidentified Person System. And even when they do get logged in, oftentimes it's under the wrong ethnicity. There's lack of coordination between tribal, state, and federal agencies, which means that many go unaccounted for or uninvestigated.
A lot of those people don't want anything to do with that. I don't know why, but they want to make a statement and that's it. They want a statement in writing. They don't want to be seen on, Law and Crime, and then they're saying something that could get that community in trouble. I'm going to imagine that. And I'm trying to adjust my volume, but Justin is really freaking loud. Jesse's lower, and I can't hear how I sound to you guys. So I do my best to keep the settings down. Everybody's got a different volume here. All right. And you're welcome. Thank you guys for being here. You guys, we're going to have a giveaway soon. We're almost done with this episode.
And even the Bureau of Indian Affairs estimates that there's at least 4,200 unresolved missing Indigenous persons cases in the U.S. It's really a problem. And a big part of what leads to that is, again, going back to that jurisdictional issue that you have, which is, did it happen on tribal land? Were both people, Indigenous, which oftentimes, like I said at the beginning of this, the perpetrator is not. More than 90% of sexual violence against Indigenous women is committed by non-Native offenders. So I think that when you have all of that, they go into the tribal lands for whatever reason, they commit these offenses, they leave, and there's no clear path for jurisdictional justice, basically, for these people. And I think that's a big part. There's legal gaps.
It really is. It really is. Big legal holes more than anything. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Going back to Emily Pike for a second, the investigation seems like it's stalled, right? They don't have particular suspects. Is there anything you're learning through your reporting about this, your research into this, about who they might have been looking at, what they might have been looking at, any potential leads, where the investigation is right now?
So the only thing that I've seen as far as a new update is that the San Carlos Apache tribe is now offering a $75,000 reward for information leading to arrest and conviction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that an outer law enforcement is taking over. I don't think that they're doing any of that. So, I mean, I think it was a job that was close to the inside, somebody that she knew, somebody that was familiar with the area. So absolutely. I haven't heard much about this other than from here. A lot of the things are still just speculation. All right, let's keep going.
Which is the first time that I've seen an award like this. It doesn't mean that doesn't happen, just first time I've seen it offered by one of the tribes. But as far as leads, from what I understand, from what I've seen, from what I've even heard that's unverified, there is nothing. There's no leads, there's no suspects. It's not really on anybody's radar. And to me, it sounds like it's not really getting
and that's why there's a lot of speculation, guys, because you get one report from somebody at the group home and then you see them put a reward, but nobody's talking. Why is nobody talking? Nobody wants to be on the face of some news channel talking crap about their own, reservation or their own people. That's what I believe. All right. I mean, leave you an email with my address. If you're talking to me, I don't know who you're talking to, but guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. If you want to email me, let's keep going so we can do a giveaway.
Investigation or justice that really needs to be brought, not justice, but investigation that's brought into it to try to bring these people to justice. It doesn't sound like anybody's really doing much of anything, to be honest.
Even after such a gruesome end for Emily,
I feel like there's no cameras
that were found in all the remains. I mean, that's a chilling aspect too.
Yeah, it's supposedly her legs and her arms are what's missing. Supposedly.
See,
again, that's unverified.
You hear how different that is? He literally just said her legs and her arms are missing, but that's not true because maybe it's not true. Maybe it is. They just said that her legs were found, her torso was found, right? Her head was found, but no arms were found and no hands were found. So you see kind of what happens here. And I know it's crazy. Where are the freaking cameras? We're in 2025. There's no cameras anywhere, guys. And I wonder if that's an on purpose thing. Now, classic one says the FBI has investigative jurisdiction over violation 118. As well as most other crimes. I'm not going to read all that, but for example, right? All right, let's keep going. So you hear a little bit different from each person when you're digging in and you have to speculate some things, and then you hear different sources saying different things. I definitely heard they had her legs and her torso and her head, but not arms or hands.
But that's what people, in that area have kind of been saying. And I agree with you, because not only is this a brutal end, for somebody, this is a child. She's 14 years old. She had a full life ahead of her, and she deserves the same attention that, anybody else would get in this type of a situation. And honestly, if it were most, and I hate to say it this way, if she wasn't Indigenous, a case like this would probably be blowing up on social media, blowing up everywhere it was. But unfortunately, one thing that I've discovered being a social media creator is I can cover, a case like this, but because they're Indigenous, people will just scroll by. And that's really a pity.
Well, hopefully they don't scroll by this video, because I think it's an important conversation that we're having. And by the way, that adds to one more thing, because it turns out there was another murder in the same area where Emily was found dead 4 years ago. 31-year-old Native man Leo Harry
It was a
White
man.
was found in a car with multiple gunshot wounds off US 60 at milepost 277 in September of 2021. According to the Gillett County Sheriff's Office, there is a key difference between Emily's killing and White's. It's that White appears to have been killed in his parked car,
with a gun.
Investigators believe that Emily was killed somewhere else and her body was dumped off of US 60. A spokesperson told media outlet Arizona Family that the deaths are not believed to be connected. Justin, what do you believe?
There's a lot of Indigenous people that live, in Arizona, New Mexico. So it could just be another example of violence against Indigenous people. Do I believe they're connected or not? I think that it's too soon to tell, and I don't think we have enough information. But at the end of the day, you have two people who are Indigenous.
And it's almost like you have some kind of dumping ground, right? Now, I don't think that it was anything with drug cartels. I doubt that. Maybe that is a signature, but it sounds like to me there were defensive wounds and she was fighting back, and then I'm sure that there was DNA under her fingernails and wounds that she was, fighting back. That's what it sounds like to me. And I'm just using common sense and speculation. In my opinion, she fought hard and her arms were taken while alive. That's a good point too. Wow.
That are gone. Now, if somebody's thinking, in the back of their mind, like a serial killer, I don't really see that there's a connection between, a man in his car and
I don't. With a
gun,
gun,
a teenage girl is going to be a lot easier of a target, more vulnerable, especially coming from a group home, probably easier. Whereas, what happened with the gentleman?
Yeah, I don't see that either.
He was in his car, and again, we don't know what happened because that one was also unsolved and not really investigated. So, I think that there's just a lot of violence, and this kind of just highlights how much of it is that in a 4-year span, you can find two people brutally murdered, very close, where their remains were found very close to each other.
I do wonder, in these kinds of cases that you've been talking about, the ones that are solved, the ones that are investigated to a conclusion, are these crimes committed by people who are family members, friends, people who know the victims, or are they complete strangers who are looking for a crime of opportunity?
Absolutely.
What can you tell us about that?
I actually don't know the answer to that. I'd have to verify. But if I had to guess based on conversations that I've had with people in,
hey, Terry,
I'm thinking specifically the Navajo tribe, which I had recently, it seems to me that most of them are people who come on to reservation land for some type of work or some type of, they have a purpose to be there temporarily. So they come onto the land, they're there for their period of time, and they leave. It doesn't sound like it's people that know their victims. If they do know them, it's probably not very well. At least based on what I kind of understand. But again, you don't hold me to that.
When you hear law enforcement saying, if you have video of Emily, I don't know this area very well. Do you have confidence that people would?
Now, I'm not sure if they don't have anything or they're not releasing information. You got to remember, this is a small-ish community of people that they're looking at. It's not like they're looking at, I don't think they're looking at the whole United States. They're looking at this one area that somebody probably knew, this really targeted situation. I don't think that the gentleman that was shot to death was had anything to do with Emily. I feel like it was just left in a similar area because it's isolated. So I think they're just not talking about it. We heard that they had 3 suspects, and then we hear that they have none. So which one is it? We just got to find out as the information comes. There's a lot of speculation out there.
Have the kind of video that's necessary to track her location. I mean, it's not like, I cover the Luigi Mangione case. It's not like it's a metropolitan city where you have video cameras everywhere. Do you
Right.
have any idea about what they might be looking at? If there is an idea about, is there a large reservoir of video footage, video surveillance cameras in this area?
I think that that's a great question, a great point to bring up. And the short answer to that is, do I think that there are cameras to a degree? I mean, I do. I think that people have Ring cameras. I think people have security cameras on their business. There should be something somewhere that caught her. Now, would it be enough to track her locations? And I think Luigi's a really great example, because you can't go 5 feet in New York without getting picked up on a camera. You're going to have constant coverage everywhere. But this is a very different area, very rural, very desolate for the most part, outside of where you have your buildings and things like that, your businesses, your homes. And so depending on where she went, do I think that somebody has footage out there of her? Absolutely. I don't see how this day and age it wouldn't be possible. But do I think that there's enough to trace exactly where she went? No, not unless you can find who might have taken her and you can catch their vehicle, and then you might be able to work backwards from there. I think other than that, it's going to make it very difficult unless there's evidence that was left on Emily.
And so many people are looking for justice for Emily right now. Family members described her as a sweet and soft-spoken girl who did well in school. She was looking forward to college. You said it so well, Justin. She had her whole life in front of her. They said that her smile was said to be infectious. One relative compared her to Tinkerbell, sparkling, full of life. In a phone call, Emily's uncle, Alred Pike Jr., told NBC News her being deceased is one thing, but the way that she was found was another thing. It's hard to comprehend that someone would do such a thing to a 14-year-old girl. Justin, it really is hard to comprehend that. And in your experience covering these kinds of crimes, we talk about it all the time, right? The idea of a stabbing, it's personal, it's filled with anger. This kind of crime, in your experience, who typically commits this kind of attack?
I mean, this is, when you're talking about something like dismemberment, it's brutal, right? It's almost serial killer-esque, trying to, get rid of the body, although they, just dumped her on the side of the highway like she was trash, literally in trash bags. I think that when you're
now, I'm gonna speculate a little because of all the different all of the different articles that I've read, and people that talked, like her friends from the group home or a cousin or family member, that you're possibly right, Mo, about her hitchhiking. I read that maybe she was possibly wanting to go home, that she ran away to go to her mom's or wherever she thought home was, and the wrong person or persons gave her a ride, and this happened. So that's definitely a strong possibility. Yeah, all lives matter, and that's why we're here. It says no suspects, but then other people say there are 3 persons of interest. So interesting. I mean, that's why we're here,
talking
right?
about somebody who could number one, harm a child to begin with. You're looking at a special kind of, for lack of a better word, or for a YouTube safe word, we'll say a special type of horrible, special type of brutal. But when you look at adding something like dismemberment to it, I think it really just takes it to another level of just how horrific and sadistic somebody like that could be.
Yeah.
And to me, it also sounds like it's probably not their first time.
I think you might be right about that. Although I will tell you,
Kathleen, what's up?
Sometimes people's first crime is the most unimaginable worst crime.
Happy Friday.
They're just, sometimes they're fair, they're literally law-abiding citizens, maybe have a couple of speeding tickets, and then they commit a brutal murder and dismemberment. I've seen that too. So it's hard to guess, but I will tell you this. Justin Shepard, I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you bringing this case to my attention and to our audience's attention. Let everybody know where they can find you. If they have information about the Emily Pike case, or they want to talk to you, I mean, where can people find your content, your channel, and the information that you're going to be giving about this case and others?
All right, so this is Justin on TikTok. I'm not going to even, you guys go to Law&Crime. I don't want to send you to someone that I don't really know about the content. If you guys follow him, great, but Law&Crime. All right, so we're going to now, if you guys made it this far, we're an hour and 19 minutes in. Thank you guys for being here, listening to this with me, speculating with me, talking about it, and spreading the word of Emily Pike. justice for Emily Pike. And I didn't read that, but there's a possibility too. All right. She did have a rough life to begin with. All right. So let's, you guys are here. You commented. We've got 3 Foxy baubles, I believe, to give away. So let's just do it right now. I'm going to run through it, you guys, and then you guys can email guiltyofprizes@gmail.com if you win. All right. They're making me log in. Hold on real quick. All right. So let's see. Did we go back there and load the comments? All right. Number 1. I don't have a lot of time, guys, Foxy. So let's, if you can put that email address up, what is it? guiltyofprizes@gmail.com. Frankie Shaw. I know Frankie's here. So Frankie Shaw and AKA #justice for Emily Pike. Frankie, you won, a Foxy bauble. So you guys, anybody that wins guiltyofprizes@gmail.com. Frankie Shaw, you're a winner. I know you're there because I just saw you. All right, let's go to the next one and let's give away another one. All right, load comments. They're going to make me log in again because I backed out. All right, and then I'm going to go eat. I'm hungry. I should have ate before. All right, go. And go. All right. All right. Even though I've been streaming for what? Oh, wow. Almost 3 hours, guys. Thank you guys for being here. All right. So we got Frankie Shaw, and now we have Cynthia Nicole Adams. There you go. There you go. guiltyofprizes@gmail.com. We have one more to give away. You guys email guiltyofprizes@gmail.com. Last one here. And thank you, Foxy Amazon, for gifting these. It's always fun to win something when you're online hanging out on a Friday night. So thank you. Thank you. Don't forget, hit the like button, you guys, and share this so we can spread the awareness. All right. Last one, guys. Congratulations to those that won. guiltyofprizes@gmail.com. Yeah, may Emily rest in peace. Dollhart, DALHART, Dollart, maybe. I don't know how to say that, but DALHART. You won. guiltyofprizes@gmail.com. All right, Kathleen, I'm glad you caught alive. I am going to eat. I am hungry. I've been doing this for 3 hours now, so thank you guys for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Go get your prize, guys. I love you. We will re-gift if somebody doesn't claim their prize. And Dollar just said she had a rough life, so you were just on there. All right. Thank you all. I appreciate you guys. Congratulations, Frankie. You say congrats, Frankie. Just got done eating. It's 6:44 here, so I have not eaten yet, and I ate a very light lunch. So I'm out of here. I love you. Hit the like button on your way out and share this. Love each and every single one of you. Keep coming back. Keep supporting the channel. I'll see you guys Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's a members only, guys. So if you're in green, you're a member. All right. Love you guys. Good night and happy Friday. I'll see you in a couple days.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?